echoes of forgotten myths. The supreme chamber of the Arkan Dominion was lit with crystalline spires that pulsed like living veins. Senators lounged in semicircles of light, their voices sharp with mockery. "Humans," sneered Archon Vale, his plated mandibles clicking in amusement. "Ancient stories meant for hatchlings. If they ever existed, their time ended with the dust of forgotten wars." The council laughed, ripples of derision rolling through the vaulted chamber. Holographic archives floated above them, fragments of old myths, a species of fragile bipedals who spread too far, too fast, and burned out in their own fire. To the Dominion, the humans were nothing but echoes, folktales woven into starfarer superstitions. Cadets at academies told jokes about the phantoms of Earth. Explorers carried charms carved in crude human likeness, ironically believed to ward off bad luck. No one believed in them. Not really. The humans had become a galactic punchline. And so, when the first reports came of a faint, anomalous transmission threading across the border of the Vale Nebula, it was dismissed with disdain. The ghost signal. On the outer patrol lines, the destroyer Carthos intercepted the anomaly. It was faint, distorted like the whisper of an ancient machine gasping its last. The crew laughed as they played it through the ship's comms, a simple pulse, repetitive, stubborn, almost archaic. "Another derelict probe," the navigator shrugged, "old tech drifting aimlessly." But archivists flagged it. The pattern matched a sequence buried deep in mythic codices, a binary cadence, old Earth mathematics, symbols aligned with the fragments of a forgotten tongue, English. The report, when sent to the Senate, was met with derision. "A ghost signal," they scoffed, "static wearing a mask." And yet it persisted. It grew stronger, clearer. Soon, listening posts across 3 sectors picked up the same rhythm, identical, intentional. Something or someone was calling. The vessel at the gate. The Nebula Gate was a monument of ancient power, a colossal arch of black stone orbiting in silence. For centuries it had stood inert, a relic of a civilization lost to time. Explorers had mapped it, scholars had studied it, but none had unlocked its function. On the 3rd cycle of the ghost signal, the gate awoke. Sensors screamed as gravitational fields bent unnaturally. Light fractured along the arch. The Dominion fleet scrambled to form a perimeter, weapons charged, shields raised. And then, through the yawning throat of the gate, it came. A vessel. It was not Dominion, not Arkan, not of any known empire. Its design was brutally simple, yet impossibly advanced. Metal forged in geometric slabs, a hull scarred but unyielding, emblazoned with a single insignia long thought to be myth, a circle crossed by 2 intersecting lines. The crest of Earth. Whispers rippled across the command decks. Commanders stared in stunned silence. The impossible had entered reality. The human vessel had arrived. Silence before the storm. At first, no words were exchanged. The human ship hovered at the heart of the gate like a judgment given form. Dominion admirals barked orders, yet their voices faltered. The ship was alone, but the air carried weight, as though behind its silence lurked 1,000 more. Scanners tried to pierce its hull. They failed. Communications attempted to hail it. The only reply was the ghost signal, now amplified to a deafening clarity. Pulse, pause, pulse, pause. The mathematicians whispered, "It is counting, not random, deliberate." Panic brewed in silence. Myths they had mocked now stared them in the eye. And then the vessel moved. It glided forward without engines flaring, without force detectable. Dominion ships adjusted nervously, their formations breaking like glass under unseen pressure. No weapons fired, not yet. But every captain felt it. They were prey before a hunter that had only just decided to reveal itself. When myths breathe fire, the turning point came swift as a blade. The Dominion's High Admiral, Vale himself, ordered a warning volley. Plasma fire streaked across the void, splashing harmlessly against the black arch. The human vessel did not dodge, did not shield. It simply endured. Then, with a single pulse of light, reality bent. Every Dominion ship within range lost control of their systems. Engines shut down, shields collapsed, weapons powered off as though silenced by a greater hand. Panic ignited across the fleet. Crews screamed into dead comms. The Senate chambers, watching through live relay, sat in horrified silence. And in the vacuum, the human vessel spoke. Not in words, but in images. Holographic projections burst across the stars, Earth oceans, burning cities, launch towers rising into skis, soldiers saluting beneath flags, ships breaching the void. A history not dead, but alive. A people not extinct, but ascendant. The myths had returned with fire. The Dominion had mocked them. Now they trembled before them. The galaxy whispers. The human vessel did not destroy the Dominion fleet. It did not need to. With silent confidence, it passed through the nebula gate, leaving shattered pride in its wake. For hours afterward, the fleet drifted powerless, staring into the empty void where the impossible had stood. When power returned, not a single commander spoke. Not a single senator dared to laugh. Across the galaxy, the story spread like wildfire. The myths were real. Humanity had returned, not as whispers, not as ghosts, but as masters of silence and shadow. And in every council, every academy, every war chamber, a chilling truth was spoken in hushed tones. The humans are here, and they remember. The galaxy whispered, shaken, humbled, terrified. Because the myths had become real. Echoes of forgotten myths. In the archives of the Zorathi Dominion, there were tales whispered only in jest, stories of a race called humans. The scholars laughed at them, the admirals dismissed them, and the academies taught them only as curiosities of folklore. Allegedly, these humans had once existed on a small, fragile world, but no proof had ever been confirmed. Some claimed they fought wars among themselves with ferocity unmatched. Others said they vanished in fire, swallowed by their own creations. At war councils, the topic sometimes arose when new recruits asked if humanity had ever been real. The elder strategists smirked, shaking their heads. A child's tale, they would say, a story meant to frighten explorers into discipline. For centuries, the galaxy agreed. Humans were not real, they were myths. Until the signal came. The ghost in the gate. The Dominion was expanding along the Vale expanse, where the collapsed remains of ancient wormhole gates floated like broken crowns. Explorers patrolled them regularly, keeping watch for pirates or scavengers. But on the eve of the 93rd cycle of patrols, the listening posts near Gate Kilos detected something. At first it was dismissed as static, a flicker, an echo buried deep in the radiation wash of the broken gate. But the technicians leaned closer, isolating the waveform. It was not random. It pulsed in rhythm, carrying structure, carrying intent. Impossible, one muttered. Another whispered, it sounds like language. The report spread quickly to the Dominion Senate. The admirals gathered, circling holograms of the broken gate. A ghost signal had been received, not once, not twice, but in precise intervals like a heartbeat. An old beacon, scoffed High Admiral Veras, nothing more than the remnants of a long-dead civilization. Yet the younger analysts looked pale. No, my lords, The sequence matches patterns stored in the mythic archives. That word hung in the chamber like poison. Mythic archives. It was the section reserved for things that did not exist, and within its faded records were references to human communication protocols. Arrogance at the council. The Senate chambers echoed with dismissive laughter, 1,000 alien voices mocking the very thought. Humans, you mean the fire ghosts of forgotten stories. They destroyed themselves. They never even touched the stars. Ghosts don't send signals.